What's up, Tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of Real Housewives of Dallas, season 4, episode 14. Next week is the season finale, and I know they filmed the reunion. I want to say they filmed the reunion last week, I feel like, but they really just filmed the reunion. So I thought we had a few more episodes, but next week is the finale, and that's cool. This was our last episode in Thailand. So we know where we left off last week, where Leanne was pissed off and she starts yelling at Cameron. And let me tell y'all something about Cameron. Couple of things about Cameron this episode. Cameron is very cagey. Cameron is very cagey. Cameron is no dummy. Okay? And I'll get to that a little bit later. But Leanne starts yelling at Cameron, and Cameron cracks me up because every time somebody yells at her, the first thing out of her mouth is, "No one has ever yelled at me like that before." They have all yelled at you at this point, Cameron. So don't say no one's ever yelled at you, because everybody on this cast has yelled at you. Maybe nobody before, but certainly now. But Cameron is talking to Leanne, and Cameron is actually holding her own. Cameron is like, "Leanne, why are you yelling at me?" And so Leanne starts yelling about, "Well, that triggers something." But Cameron's like, "Okay, but then why'd you go? Like, why did you go?" "I went to protect you. I went to..." Leanne, who? And later on in the episode, Carrie is like, "Are you a super... Like, you're not a superhero or something. Like, you don't have to protect somebody." And so they were going back and forth. And so what we find out later is that Cameron ended up calling Carrie and um Deandra, and Cameron got really emotional. Cameron was crying, and then Leanne apologized, and they were crying together, and you know, but best suffice to say, none of them got any sleep, and it got really, really bad with Leanne and Cameron. And Leanne started talking about, "What about your reputation when you get back to Dallas?" And y'all know that's Leanne's go-to. Whenever stuff don't go her way, she starts talking about people's reputation and how conservative Dallas is and how you're just not going to live this down. And in my mind, I'm like, all these women have gotten through whatever it is you said they weren't going to get through just fine. And I ain't heard Leanne talking a whole lot about charity since season 1. That's what season 1 was all about, all these charities that Leanne was in. And even though she didn't come from money, she ran in the money circles because of all her charity work. I ain't heard about no, and I'm not saying she's not still doing it. That's not what I'm saying. But I haven't heard about all this charity work that you were so proud of, that you were worried about, Brandy and Stephanie trying to get into charitable society. So whatever. Um, so the next morning, Travis shows up. So Travis is here. Lord, did y'all see Travis in that tut-tut? Honey. And I know Travis travels to Thailand often, so I know he's used to things not being his size. But Travis, I never saw Travis as a giant before until I saw him in that damn tut-tut. And then when he got out that tut-tut, I said, "What the hell?" He looked like the Jolly Green Giant all of a sudden. It was hilarious. But anyway, so Travis is here. And we see the next morning, basically the next morning, Carrie and Deandra are just talking about what happened over dinner to let us know what had happened the night before. So the ladies are going jewelry shopping. Brandy and Stephanie are staying. They're going to have a pool day. Um, Deandra, Carrie, and Cameron are going jewelry shopping. And Leanne decides to stay at the hotel and do a massage. She said she just needs some time to herself. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. So the ladies go jewelry shopping, and they have a really good time. They got these really cute bags. All those purses were so cute that they got a little square. I'm gonna try to find a picture of it for my thumbnail, but excuse me, the little square bags. Not square. They're not square. Anyway, they were real cute. And that daggone Carrie, she in there bargaining and hustling. She said, "Look, that's what we do in Mexico, okay? Nobody pays the sticker price in Mexico." She said, "When I came to the United States, it got me in a little bit of trouble because I was always trying to bargain and negotiate a price." She said, "I even tried to do it when I got a ticket. I was asking the cop, 'Look, if I pay it now, what's up?'" But again, now that is cultural. That is cultural. That in Mexico, that's you could pay the cop, like that is. So that's not that was her culture. Now the other thing I said about Cameron, I almost forgot. Lord, this was very important. Here go Leanne again. talking about that Mexican, and she called her a chirping Mexican, and this Mexican, and that Mexican. Cameron said, Cameron was so hilarious. Cameron said, Leanne, you cannot put an adjective or a verb in front of someone's nationality. And it's funny because I never thought of it before like that. But when you break it down, that is where people get offended. If I describe someone as saying, if somebody said, well, do you know Leanne? I say, oh, Leanne, she's a, older white woman, blah, 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 brown hair, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not offensive, right? But if I say that bumbling white lady or that chirping white lady, like it almost does take it to another level, right? But neither here nor there. This is the third episode in a row that Leanne wants to be Mexican, 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 Mexican. And I have started to see this week, I did see a firestorm. It seemed like all of a sudden it just sort of like, I feel like that first week they were going to give her a pass, right? I feel like that first week they were going to give Leanne a pass. But then the second week it was kind of like, but this week it was like, nope, Leanne, nope, nope, nope. You were wrong, you racist. And I started seeing her apology probably last week. I started seeing her responding and apologizing, and she didn't mean it, and blah, blah, blah. So we have that. Now, so they went shopping. Okay, I had to go back and because I almost forgot to say that, but that thing was funny when Cameron was like, "You cannot put an adjective or verb in front of someone's nationality." And I said, "That's hilarious." So they go shopping, and the first place they went was more of like an upscale, upscale type jewelry shop. But then they ended up going to like more the, I guess, average places because that's where Carrie buys a lot of her jewelry and she takes it home and she sort of dismantles it and she sort of dismantles it and puts it back together and makes her jewelry from the stones and the beads and stuff that she finds there. Now, while they're out, they had to have a conversation with Carrie. And they basically had to tell Carrie, Leanne was manipulating you and she should have never said anything to you. And that was wrong for her to say this. And how dare she do that? And you need to let her know that she can't talk to you that way. And blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm not saying that what they were saying was wrong, but and I guess they were brought into it when Cameron called them and was crying and upset. So I'm not going to say that they were wrong. I'm not going to say that they were out of place. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say that because, at the end of the day, um, they weren't telling her anything wrong. And Cameron was, at first she was like, you think so? You think that that's what she was doing? And then she was like, well, yeah, she did say this. So, but Cameron was not dogging Leanne. She did not do that. She did not start dogging Leanne. However, she did start telling them more of what happened and telling them how it upset her and how it made her feel. I'm not going to rehash the whole red light district thing. We know what happened. It is what it is. And like Carrie said, look, this is one of their biggest tourist attractions. The red light district is safe. Like, it is not this slum, rats running across your foot, somebody standing behind every corner ready to rob you. Like, we were fine. And even if it was, they had security with them. Like, they said that in the last episode that they had security with them. So they were fine. It just wasn't that serious. Back at the hotel, Stephanie and Brandy end up having a little moment by the pool, honey. Stephanie and Brandy are so hilarious. They have such a, if it's two guys, they call it a bromance. Would they call it a hermance? I don't know. The two of them are hilarious. And what I love about Travis and um Brandy's husband, I can see his face, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Brian. What I love about the two of them is that they don't pay Stephanie and Brandy no attention. Like, Stephanie had the whole pool set up with like this romantic setup with flowers, and she was feeding her bananas dipped in chocolate. Like, it was hilarious. But it was so typical Brandy and Stephanie shenanigans. You know what I mean? Like, they are just silly. They are so silly. And while they were sitting by the pool having their little champagne and stuff, next thing you know, here comes somebody doing a cannonball into the pool, splashing water all over them. And it, like, for a quick second, I was thinking, oh my God, that was so rude. And then I said, that's Travis. Like as soon as it came, I was like, that is Travis. And that's what it was. It was Travis. And he started splashing them. And they had a good time. So everybody gets back to the hotel and it's their last night there. So they're going to the shishi, the restaurant, real nice, expensive restaurant that's inside of their hotel. The restaurant was really look, they had iPads for their menus. And I've seen that somewhere before. Now, I have never eaten at a restaurant where my menu was an iPad, but I have seen that somewhere before. I don't remember what I was looking at, but I remember thinking, is the menu an iPad? So it was very, very, very shishi, very shishi. Really nice restaurant. Now, the other thing that was happening, again, this is where I started seeing just how cagey Cameron was. Deandra asked Cameron, what types of things has Leanne been saying about Carrie, right? And Cameron was like, well, she hasn't been saying anything other than they weren't getting along when they first met. And Cameron said in her confessional, now is not the time for me to tell Carrie all about what Leanne has been saying because I know that all it's going to do is create more friction and create a bad situation. And I want to finish enjoying my trip. Like she knows that if she starts getting into the whole, well, she calls you this kind of Mexican and that kind of Mexican and this and this and this and that. Oh, she knows it's going to go left. And her thing is, look, I am trying to enjoy the rest of my vacation. Now is not the time for me to get into all of that. That's why I knew. I said, Cameron knows exactly what she's doing. And what Cameron, it was funny was Cameron started complaining about how Leanne was talking to her and why Leanne was acting so crazy and Leanne was wilding out. And I'm thinking to myself, now you understand where these other women were coming from when, you've been defending Leanne all of this time. Oh, I've never seen Leanne act crazy. I've never seen Leanne lie. I've never seen Leanne go overboard and overreact about something. But now you see it. And I think she knows that she's seeing it. Well, I think she saw it before, but she didn't want to, you know. But I also think that she knows, number one, I got a 28-hour flight where I got to sit next to this woman. Number two, she is my roommate. Like, I can handle all this when we get back to Dallas. But right now, I'm not even trying to do this. I'm not trying to rock this boat. Like, she's not that. Like, yes, she has been confrontational with Brandy and some of these other women, but that was in Dallas. And even in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? They are in Thailand. So, and I also think she's processing because, I mean, let's be clear. When you are friends with someone and the relationship starts to fall away or something, you see a different side of them, you do have to process. There is a time where you have to kind of, in your mind, work through what happened and your experience, your disappointment. So they're going to dinner. And of course, the dinner starts off nice, starts off really nice. And then at a certain point, that damn Carrie. Now let me say this to you, y'all. Just because Leanne got on my nerves doesn't mean that I've absolved Carrie. Because Carrie, you do too much too. You poke and poke and poke and poke. And you did it with your husband. We saw that when her and her husband got into that argument. She did it with the dress a couple of episodes ago. And you did it at dinner. You can say what you have to say and be done with it. You said it. Leanne responded, move on. But she kept going and going and going. And she kept going to my, well, Leanne, she's not your child. You don't have to protect her. Da 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 da. And Leanne was like, yeah, well, I know that I was wrong and I apologize. I don't know what else you want me to say. But baby, then Leanne started going off. Why Leanne snapping her? I said, did she just snap? And then Deandra tried to tell her, don't snap at her. She's not an animal. Leanne is gonna say, plenty of people have snapped at me. Deandra was like, yeah, but not in your face. Like, that's not appropriate. She said, she's not a trained monkey, is what she said. Leanne gonna say, well, now Leanne, I'm gonna say this to you. You got away with that one because Carrie is Mexican. Had that been a black woman that you said that about, baby, I'm telling you now, there'd be a whole nother situation with you right now. It's certain things you cannot say, Leanne. So, of course, it turned into this big thing. And so Cameron sort of started backing down and she wasn't being as forceful. She admitted, look, Leanne, she overreacted. Leanne went too far. Leanne hurt my feelings. Leanne, did too much, but she did apologize and let's move on. We're still friends. We're still cool. We don't have an issue. And again, I feel like that should have been left. Like it's been addressed. Like I don't know how many different ways I want to tell Leanne she was wrong and she was overreacting and she was acting crazy. Like there's only but so many ways you can say it. And I'm not defending Leanne because Leanne acted badly. But then then Brandy gets in it. And again, I feel like this is something that was just on Brandy's mind, but it did feel like it was piling on. So Brandy starts talking about how, well, you making everything about you, and you're making, this whole situation about, then she brought up the elephant, and when she was crying about the elephant, talking about every time you see an animal that'll let you ride on them, that means that they're broken, and I'm broken, and oh gosh, and so of course Leanne. Well, I'm sorry if my story makes you uncomfortable. I'm sorry if my tragic childhood and Brandy was like, see you're doing it again. Like you're doing it again. Like now you're becoming the victim. Woe is me. You're making it all about you. So then of course her and Deandra get into it, and Leanne just don't see it for Deandra anyway. And her and Deandra get to arguing. And while Leanne gonna say in her confessional talking about something, I'm not your mama and I'm not your empty bank account. Leave me alone. I said, oh, that's not nice. But again, Deandra, I feel like you were saying what you really wanted to say too. Like in that moment, y'all were no longer defending Cameron. Y'all were venting y'all own frustrations with Leanne. And it was no longer about defending Cameron. Because again, Cameron dealt with it. They apologized. They moved on. But now all of what y'all feel is coming out. And that daggone Stephanie said, look, I'm the hostess. I'm not getting it. And she didn't say a word. She let them argue and she didn't say nothing. So then finally, Leanne is crying and being all emotional, talking about something. I just needed a day because I knew that I had hurt her so bad. Brady was like, see, that's what I'm talking about right there. Like all of that, becoming a victim. Now you're the victim. And Deandra said the same thing. Like you always make yourself the victim. So then, of course, Leanne made herself a bigger victim. Well, do you guys just want me to leave? I mean, is that what it is? You just want me to leave? Brandy said, I got one better for you. I'll leave. So when Brandy got up to leave, so did Carrie. Now they went up to the rooftop bar and had a drink and basically commiserated on how horrible Leanne was acting and how they couldn't believe that Cameron was defending Leanne, that after everything Leanne did, now Cameron was acting like everything was all good and they were best friends again. And I'm thinking to myself, no, Cameron is doing what Cameron has to do to keep the peace. Cameron don't want no smoke with Leanne. And they did bring that up like, well, do you think that Cameron is scared of Leanne? I think scared is a strong word. I don't know if it's scared so much as she just don't want that smoke. I don't know why, because she doesn't seem to have a problem going toe to toe with Deandra or with Brandy. But maybe I don't know. I don't know what her issue is. I don't know why. But I know she knew what she was doing and she wasn't stupid. Then so they don't then they end up leaving. So then Leanne did eventually leave. Um Deandra and Stephanie got up to leave. They done left that daggone Cameron at the table by herself to eat. Because now everybody food was coming who had left. So Cameron was like, ain't no need wasting no food. What they order? Yeah, give me that. What she ordered? Yeah, go on, bring me that. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all could have sat there with that woman while she finished eating her dinner, especially you, Deandra. Now, Stephanie, okay, your husband was upstairs waiting for you. But Deandra, you ain't had nowhere to go. You just wanted to be nosy and go find Brandy and Carrie and find out what they were talking about. That's all that was. Y'all ain't had to leave that girl by herself eating dinner. They did a timestamp. They said that 20 minutes later she was in her room. So y'all could have sat there with her for another 20 minutes while she ate the rest of everybody else's food. Anyway, so they get up to the room and once again, Leanne being extra, she gonna slam the door in Cameron's face and lock it. And then Cameron was like, Leanne, why are you mad at me? Like I said we were good. Like what is wrong with you? Like I didn't dog you out. I said we were good. I said everything was cool with us. Like what is wrong with you? So then of course Leanne opens the door and now she again is the victim. She's crying and Why does everyone hate me? I don't know how I keep getting here. Well, again, if you keep getting in the same place, then it is something you are doing. And you do need to figure out what you're doing, because whatever it is you're doing, you are affecting people in the wrong way. I don't know what it is. I don't have that answer, Your Honor. Well, I do. But you don't want to hear it. They tell you every season what your issue is, but you don't want to hear it. You want to stick in your, I didn't do anything wrong and I don't know why everybody's mad at me. So if you want to stay there, you stay in that. But people have told you what the issue is. You just don't want to hear what the issue is. Neither here nor there. So um they end up talking. Now, Cameron, here's where you went a little too far. Because now Cameron is back on that. It's us against them. They they hate us. They don't want us to be great. Then it became a whole nother thing. That she was back on the Leanne train, it seemed like. And then Leanne was like, well, they said that I was jealous of y'all being friends. I don't care that y'all are friends. I don't care that everyone is a friend. I don't care about that, which you do. You do. This all boiled down to you got jealous that Leanne was becoming cool with Carrie and Deandra and not carrying your what's the word I'm looking for? Grudge. That is what it is. You can say what you want to say, you can call it what you want to call it, but that's what this boils down to. So then Leanne tipped her hand and Leanne said, I guess tomorrow when we get to the airport, she's gonna want to change seats so that she can ride with you back. And here go Cameron. So I thought you didn't care that who was friends with who. Why you worried about who gonna change their seat? Why you worried about who gonna sit next to who? I said, okay. Um, honey, that's pretty much it. They packing up. They head out the next day. Stephanie is staying in Vietnam with Travis. They're looking for his dad. So she made sure they all got off to the airport, okay. But she's not flying back with them. She's staying with Travis. They're gonna look for Travis's dad and do all of that and come back. So that's pretty much where it ended, y'all. Next week is the season finale, and then I am sure this reunion is gonna be oh so extra. Okay. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.